colors.
Meow. Yeah, but your colors aren't gonna do shit if they won't save.
No, you don't understand.
No, I do understand. I understand perfectly.
At least have my colors here.
No.
The
Anyway.
problem is that massive background I've painted.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
I can't pull up anything right
you
now.
can't pull up the questions. Oh, Jesus.
Literally, I could, but
Okay.
it's really not going to be good.
Sigma's question. Please tell us some funny stories of your childhood. Did any inspire parts of RagNBone, or even if they're just funny? This is kind of mostly your territory, because the only funny thing I can ever remember from my childhood is throwing a fry into my brother's eye, and it's stuck in the corner there, and we just died laughing.
It's terrible the way that you say it.
The way that I say it, yes.
You're a fry.
My brother
got stuck there.
No, but it got stuck right there, and he had his eye closed, which is what was hilarious. It wasn't in his eye; it was just
I know
right
it wasn't
here.
in his eye. It was the corner of his eye.
It was the corner of his eye, the inside corner, and I was like, okay.
Good Lord, funny childhood stories. There's not. I can't really think of a lot of them.
I
That's
can't think
mainly
of-
because I'm the youngest of 5 brothers and sisters, and I have a lot of stories of other people's childhood. Does
Yeah, does that count?
Like from my nephews and nieces. When I was like say 13 or so, I used to babysit them a lot. One time I had one of my nephews. I picked him up. And he hadn't seen me in a couple of months. I would say I had hit puberty, so I was about 12, 13 years old. I had boobs, and he I pick him up and have him on my hip, and he pats me on the chest, like literally pats my boob, and goes, "You're not supposed to have those." And he's like 2 or 3 years old. Then we had what was it? When I was growing up, not really funny stories, but derp stories. When I was about 12 or 13, again with my nephew. I have a lot of stories from when my nephews were younger. But this particular nephew, I used to play with a lot. Like we, mind you, 3 or 4 years old, and I'm 13, running around the house with this little toddler. I dressed him up as a knight, and I ran around as a wizard for the day, and we derped around the house in costume, chasing after, family members.
I remember when I used to be with a babysitter. I was the oldest one there, so it was kind of my job to entertain everybody. So I'd start pretending I was like a dog or a lion, chasing them around the house.
I was a horse.
They made a harness, and I was pulling them around in the snow while they're sitting in a box, and I'm running them around.
I was a horse. I was always one that the kids would come on my back and ride on.
Yeah, I had that too. See, I don't have a funny childhood. Sure. Everything is kind of recent in terms of what's inspired to RagNBone.
My childhood, let's see, there's things that inspire me from my childhood, but none of them are really funny. Like, funny things that happened when I was a kid. Let me think.
RagNBone's funny, but it's not like... Is it sad that most of my childhood memories come from, Foster's House for Imaginary Friends or Narnia? I don't apparently live in the real world.
Rattle says I don't have a childhood, and let me explain why.
You don't have a childhood. I'm sorry.
I started out my life up until I was about probably 6 or 7 years old as a Jehovah's Witness. Now, Jehovah's...
You just came right out there.
Jehovah's What?
You just happened, Hannah.
It just happened. Here's a funny story. This is recent, but still. My mom was describing her life or something to me and Rattles. And she was talking about how, my brothers and sisters raising them and stuff. And then she looks at me and she goes, "And then you happened." And I went, "And then I happened? I happened. I popped right out there. I just occurred. I was not born. I happened." And so that's become a running gag. But, no,
there happened and you step on important shit.
It happened and I step on important shit. But no, when I was, what was it? Well, basically up until I was about 6 or 7 years old, my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. This meant that every weekend, of course, church, and another thing it meant is that Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's all areas of Jehovah's Witnesses. Maybe it's not, I don't know, maybe it's only like, a specific kind of Jehovah's Witness. I'm not sure.
I remember stories.
But
continue.
At any rate, Jehovah's Witnesses believe, or not, I can't really preach too much about the belief system because of the fact that I don't really know a lot of it. But what I do know is that we do not celebrate holidays. No birthdays, no Christmas, none of that stuff. This includes school functions. I did not attend like Valentine's Day parties and stuff at the school. Yeah, so no Christmas, guys. No Christmas until I was like 6 or 7 years old.
She hasn't had a Christmas tree in 4 years. We were supposed to get one. We kind of got a little mini Stitch Punk sized one, but
Yeah.
we don't actually. She's never had a tree for 4 years of living with her ex-husband.
Of my own. I haven't had a tree of my own.
That's blasphemy.
And
that is a sin against every nature and religion.
My grandparents celebrated the holidays, and for some reason that was okay. We would go and we would celebrate holidays with my grandparents, but at home we did not celebrate holidays. So
that's like trying to explain to your kid, your grandparents are allowed to eat meat. You're not.
Yeah,
we're not going to tell you why.
So that's pretty much how my childhood went. And then basically that kind of ended when my parents got divorced. I know, right? Right? No Christmas, then the parents get divorced. Sweet! No.
I wished for years my parents would get divorced. They're still not divorced.
Now things I do recall, let's see, from when I was a kid. Okay.
I remember screaming at people that came to the door saying that they were Jehovah's Witness, and then I named a transformer Jehovah. And so, every time we had it happen at Mom's, that's why we had that no soliciting sign on the door. Because we would have Jehovah's Witnesses coming down and knocking on the door, and I'd just open the door and I'd be like, he's not here.
See, I remember being the alternate. I was the kid wearing the tights and the dress and the shoes and going from house to house with my dad.
Oh, you actually dressed up. These guys never did.
No, we had to dress up in full-on Sunday school outfits. Now, here's the problem with that. I want you to picture doing this in July. Here. You know how hot it was in July here this year.
Yeah. That was like, I begged you to turn on the fan every 5 seconds.
I was, and here I am, 5 or 6 years old doing this. I'm like, that. But anyway,
I don't believe in Sunday school clothes or Sunday clothes, period, case clothes.
I like them on occasion, but not the amount to which we wore them.
No, I don't believe in that. If the hot chocolate is not worth it, it's against my religion. I'm supposed to walk around in a bikini looking like a fat guy with a ruby in my head.
Childhood stuff. See, I remember little things like my brother was out raking leaves one time, and he would put me in the wheelbarrow on top of the leaves and wheel me around the yard. And he threw me. We had there's a lot of things I remember from when I was a kid that are like. When I look at them now, I'm thinking, nobody does that anymore. The bag that we would use for leaves was not a trash bag like most people use these days. No, we use a cloth sack. So my brother has this cloth sack, and he says it's full of leaves. He just dumps me in on top of it. And so I'm just sitting in this bag of leaves, and he hauls it up over his back and walks across the yard. And I'm just in this bag of leaves, like, derp, derp, derp. Leaves everywhere. I'm an asthmatic kid. I'm surprised I didn't die.
God. My dad had one of those wagons that you pulled behind the lawnmowers.
My granddad did on my dad's side.
I would bring my comforter down from my bed and a pillow, and I'd get in the back, and because he would do it in the evenings when he came home. So it would almost be dark by the time he actually got started. And so I would just ride in the back, and I would drag his stereo out of the truck, and I'd blare Eric Clapton's Layla on repeat the entire time.
My biological dad, my grandparents on that side of the family lived in this really old country house. And I didn't really see people anymore because of the fact that the divorce was really messy. But there was...
People in your failed relationships.
Yeah, I know, right? my grandparents had the little tractor thing. I remember my cousins and I... Because when my parents got divorced, I lost all my cousins too because everybody in the family just kind of stopped talking to us.
Kentucky Fried Cat.
What?
Kentucky Fried Cat.
God. But no, we would all pile up in the back of his little tractor thing, and we would drive around the yard. And we had the bunkhouse, which was actually a guest house on the back of the farm. Well, not on the back of the farm. It was in the backyard, so it wasn't like we were very far away from the house. But they let us camp out in this house. It was a house. It was a full-on house. It had a potbelly stove in it, and it had actual like beds and stuff and a couch in there. And so all of us kids would go out there and derp around and make mud pies and do all kinds of dumb, little kid shit. And we had a tire swing out there that we would get up on and stuff. And I remember doing that. Let me think.
My childhood consisted of the internet, so anything that I've ever talked to people about was funny.
Wait.
I mean, come on, I had the malfunction childhood, I'm the one with the uncle who has a Cocker Spaniel named Lady, and, we would watch porn to the Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
What?
Just for shits and giggles, because we were bored! I just got on the internet, and I'm like, what is this? Derp, 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 click, click, click. And I'm like, this kind of goes with the soundtrack. My uncle didn't find out until like 30 minutes later. He's like, Well, she's not masturbating. She tried to explain to my dad why I'm watching porn on his computer. And he's like, I see no harm in it. She's listening to the soundtrack and just watching it and dying of laughter. And I'm just like, I don't get it. At all.
See, no,
I was like 13.
And what was it? Oh Jesus! When I was a kid, one big thing about my childhood that's probably a little bit different. At least it was a lot. To me, it singled me out as a kid, but it was fun. I had ferrets growing up. I also lived on a farm, so there's a couple of things about living on a farm that most people don't get.
Don't show child for.
Like, we had ferrets. I remember everybody, we took them into kindergarten class one time, and everybody thought they were raccoons, because people don't know what ferrets are. I remember,
I had a bat.
You had a bat?
I had a bat. I had a little itty-bitty fruit bat. It was like a little runt. And we caught it. Me and my brother caught it. At a barbecue, of all places, because it was near a bat cave. And I was like, yay, Batman! Because, my brother influenced me, and he's in the Batman. So, we went to the bat cave, and all these bats came flying out. We were just like, oh, fuck this shit. And he catches one. And so we brought it back. I was like, look what we got! And we kept him for like a week before Mom was like, get him out of the house!
Get rid of the bat!
We named him Joker.
Nice. See, we had the ferrets.
He would hang everywhere.
I chased chickens when I was a kid. That was like a major pastime for me, chasing chickens around the yard. I remember I don't actually remember this, but I've heard this story. There's a couple of stories I've heard about me that I don't know if they're true or not, because I was apparently there, but I don't remember them because I was really young. One was I was about 3 or 4 years old, and my dad was supposed to be watching me, and we had this huge rainstorm. And apparently I went outside. We lived right next to a creek, which was flooded at the time because of the rainstorm. And Dad's supposed to be watching me. I wander off outside. Nobody can find me for hours. I finally jerk back up to the house. They find me. They're all freaking out. Mom's having a panic attack because you see how my mom panics. And come to find out, they asked who I was doing. And apparently I was outside chasing chickens. And then apparently I got
I'm sorry, you were chasing
some chickens.
Chasing
some chickens. And then my hands got dirty, so I went down and I washed my hands in this flooded creek. There's so many times in my life I should have died, but there's
I bounced on me and the neighbors bounced on my trampoline when it was like submerged in the water from the creek flooding during a thunderstorm at night because we thought the lightning was awesome. Of course, you hear a giant ass crack at the tree behind us. Whoops.
Oh, shit. We
drag our asses back in. All my funny stories happened on video because my dad had to carry a
her
camera
dad
everywhere.
I
can't take a single person to my house without them watching me at age 7 in my underwear opening Christmas presents.
Yes,
and
it was
going
the funniest
ecstatic
thing ever.
and fangirly all over this Lion King stuff I'd get.
It was amazing. Her dad was like, hey, you have to watch this.
No, you gotta watch this. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, why?
Yeah, she's going, no. And I'm sitting here cuddling the hell out of her going, you were so cute when you were little. Oh my God.
I find nothing cute about me standing there pointing at the ducks going, Dad, 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 bread, Dad, Dad. Can we go to the art gallery? Can we go to the art gallery? Hey, look, she's got boobies. And then with the freaking Sagittarius statue.
What was it?
I pushed my brother into a waterfall once. Right behind our house, we had a creek that ended in a waterfall. And I was like, push!
There was something with the chickens. There was something else with the chickens that
chickens. God, I can barely remember when I remember having chickens. I remember nothing about the chickens aside from screaming from them every time.
I was terrified of our rooster. I remember that. We had this one rooster. It had one eye. And it was the gangliest fucking rooster. You didn't cross this fucker.
See?
It would come after you. It made that terrible warm-up noise. The chicken's like, it's like it starts really low. It's like, it's like it's growling at you. And then it gets louder and louder and it comes after you. No.